I'm going to go ahead and get started. This week, I'm a little off this week because last week I was in the mountains, the Tetons, to be specific. So, Bob, those are real mountains for you guys out in the eastern side of the United States. And I did not have a care in the world. It was great. It snowed on us twice, and we just came back here, and my wife was like, is 80 degrees really that hot? And I said, no, we've just been in 50 to 30 degrees for the past week.
Yeah, hush.
I don't think I ran the air conditioner once in the camper. The heater was on all week long. It was great.
Yeah.
Everything I could hope for. So
I stayed in the office and melted away, so 100-degree weather. So yeah, all balanced out.
Yeah, Bob, the hills that you guys have are those little, like, what, 8,000 foot mountains. My kids asked me, how do you go skiing? Isn't that a long ways to walk? And I said, oh, kids, they have nice little chairs you get to sit in while you drink your hot cocoa, so to speak. For older people, we have our whiskey flasks as you go up the mountain, and you get a nice little ride, and then you slide down. It takes about 15 minutes to get down a mountain. So we had a good time. A lot of hiking. You saw in the weekly email, that was a picture from about 7,200 feet, I think it was. So we didn't get too high. That was a hike up from a lake. Yeah, we're flatlanders, but we also have 7 ecosystems in Nebraska. But if you drive that I-80, it's about as flat as it gets. It has been proven that Kansas, just to the south of us, is flatter than a pancake. So you'll have to Google that one. Is Kansas flatter than a pancake? Nebraska is not. We actually get up to a mile high in some spots. We get up to over 5,800 feet in altitude in some of the areas of the Sandhills. So we are higher than Denver in spots. We also have Black Hills up to the north, and we have river valleys down to the south. Nebraska is an odd state. So I would guess that the state that has the lowest point and highest point would probably be Utah, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But, Bob, you are in New York, so you would be the lowest point. I'm trying to figure out what the highest point would be.
And for those of you who might have been wondering, so yeah, Adam reused my template from the week before when he sent out that update, our VEP update. So yeah, it looked like it came from me, but that was Adam's.
Oops. I noticed that there was one section missing as well, so I'll have to modify that, because I do see it Skip Ziegler on my notes here.
Oh.
That's okay. We're all one big family here.
Team effort.
While I was gone, I got time to recenter myself, and I always forget about this. That I have this speech I give to small business communities. If you get me on stage, talk about business concerns and advice. It's the power of boredom, and to facilitate creativity. So when you get out in the mountains and you're sitting there like an inspiration point, and you're waiting for the rest of your family to hike up the mountain, you just kind of sit there and you think, and your mind wanders and you get ideas. And for those of you who haven't heard my speech before, there's a reason why your best ideas used to come while you were on the toilet. Now they only come to you while you're on the shower. And it's because those were the times where you weren't distracted by life. You're in a small, boring room, and you're like, oh man, why didn't I think about that before? Or right before you fall asleep, you have a great idea.
Yep.
It's because your mind is calm. Your eyes are closed, and your mind is revving up and thinking about other things. So often as business leaders, we forget that, like, we want to be working on things all the time, because we know that if you're not growing, you're dying. And you'll definitely want to listen to that podcast, by the way, Scale or Fail. I just got done editing it. But if you're not growing, you're dying. And so you're like, oh, if I'm not at work, then my business isn't healthy. And the the exact opposite is true. You need to step away and have that free time to think and recollect your thoughts. And that's kind of what I did this last week. And I came back to hundreds of emails and started working through them. And, lots changed in 1 week. I had multiple grant options come available in the state of Nebraska. Now, I don't watch all 50 states because I don't know what your governors are doing. But you should be looking out for that, especially if you're a women-led business or you're a business with 5 to 50, right, Skip, employees?
Yeah, I think that was it. That for Nebraska, at least.
For Nebraska, and there's more stimulus money available for you. So check for California, check for New York, check for wherever you are in the United States. Except for you, Penny, you'll have to figure out what your government's doing. Canadian politics confuse me. So the concept is that you need to keep on top of the SBA. Even if you go to sba.gov, go out to their website, make sure you keep on top of that because this money goes fast. People are desperate right now. But we're starting to see that phase 2 cash kind of hit the market. We're also seeing the economy pick back up. We're seeing, as Skip is experiencing, oil prices are finally coming back to normal. And that is a huge driver in several areas, especially I know up in Canada. It's a big driver up there of how is the economy doing. So we're now seeing people confident again, and they're starting to buy again and invest again. One of the neater things I've seen during this is that a lot of the MSPs have been extra busy. And whether your MSPs have been that way or not is, I would love to hear your stories. But when I'm doing coaching or when I'm talking to people in one-on-ones, a lot of them said we've been really busy. We have a lot of projects going on, a lot's going on, and we predicted this to happen. It's just nice to see that feedback is occurring, like where members of the community are growing. Members of the community, their MSPs are on top of this and finding new projects to push out and help their clients evolve their stance. But when I wrote my email this week, I kind of wanted to do that 1-2 punch. Like right now you're thinking, I don't have time to take off because I need to be taking care of all these things like grants. I need to take care of the growth. But also that's why that step number 2 for things was taking that time to yourself, even if it's a day, where you find some way of being bored for a day so that your brain can kind of gather all this noise and all this activity that's going on around you and organize it in your head. And you'll find you'll come up with great ideas, and you'll find that those ideas start to fall into place. The good ideas start floating to the top and the bad ideas get forgotten. And that is a great way to get out of this, what I call the vortex. And that's where a lot of us business owners are right now, is there's this vortex of all this stuff happening around us, between grants, between clients, between employees, and different things happening in our personal lives. You've got to use this time when you're really chaotic to center yourself and let your brain relax enough to solve the problems.
Yeah. Well, I think the phrase that we've used so many times is working in the business or working on the business. And, when we get into times like this, when, we have this uptick in demand and things are really hectic. I mean, we don't have processes necessarily. So we're having to, really deal with things ad hoc. Well, those are all the sort of things that, lead us to work in our business. And we have to do that. I mean, we're employed here, so we do that. But it's during these times that we also need to make sure that we're very cognizant, and very intentional about taking that time to step away so that we can work on our business. And I think that, I learned that many years ago in working with some companies, and it was just a really, really important element is to be able to make sure you have that time to work on your business.
Yeah, and getting that cadence. So we always talk about cadence with our clients, like going in and doing quarterlies, doing annuals, doing weeklies or monthlies, even if you're really busy. And we don't do the same thing for our own businesses. But also in that cadence, finding that, okay, if like the day or two before that you really are going to spend some time deep diving on your business, spend some time being quiet, and then move your way into uh, a really great brainstorming session, and then take some time to be quiet. That's why retreats work so well, is that you're spending like 3 hours in a session brainstorming what your quarterly activities are going to be or what your annual activities are going to be. And you step out and you go on a catamaran, or you go hiking in the mountains, or you do something that is not business related, and you all come back to the table again the next morning, and people have all these great ideas. And that's because you allowed your brain to relax during those retreats. And you hit it with a bunch of information and then relax. Hit it with a bunch of information, then relax. Let your brain churn.
There we go.
Bob wrote in and said, startups and entrepreneurs are recommended to invest 20% of their time every week on the business.
Mm.
And that is a hard line to draw.
Yeah.
And IT, as a manager, I spend a lot of time teaching fellow managers that just because you're handling tickets, just because you're talking to your employees, doesn't mean you're strategizing and finding more efficient ways to run.
Right. Yep.
And by finding more efficient ways to run, like looking at your department as a whole, how many people do you need in your department? Why are you working on the current project load? What is that doing to help the company? And in that way, you're asking questions about where should we go next. If you own your MSP and you're on this call, spend some time thinking through, why are you an MSP? What is the direction you're going over the next 3 years, and how are you going to get there? Hold on a second. I got a sad puppy.
So yeah, just kind of key on this. I remember as my first role as a manager, I got in and kind of set out all these things I needed to be doing. But, as we were building this MSP and things were ramping up and growing so quickly, there was just a never ending list of things that needed to be done. And I quickly learned that I needed that time to step back and try to look and analyze this and say, look, where are we going? What is all this activity going to lead to? Because if you're not thinking about those activities and not preparing for those activities, then they're really going to hit you hard in the end. So, take that time to work on your business.
So, and then when I came back this week, taking the center I had gotten, so I can here, let me flip up some of my. These are places I actually went. I thought I'd create backgrounds to remind me to center myself. And this is where, when I'm planning out my quarterly goals, so like Adam Walter, Skip Ziglar, Scove, and all those other people at Virtual C 877, and asking them, where are we going to be at the end of this quarter? Okay, so, do we keep churning through clients? Do we keep churning through members and trying to get people signed up? Where do we want to be at the end of the year? And how do we get there? What are the opportunities in front of us with grants that just came out? How do we process those grants, and how are they going to help us grow? Or are they a distraction? Chasing this or that contract, is it a distraction, or is it helping me grow the overall portfolio? And so when you look at the quarterly goals this year, this Q3, Q2 rocked our world, people. There's no way at the end of last year, 2019, that you predicted what 2020 was going to look like.
Yeah.
This is one of those rare situations where you need to do a serious reevaluation. Consider Q3 coming up here to be the start of the new year. That's what you need to be thinking. So when you're planning out your quarterly goals, whether for your VCIO program or for your company, you need to be thinking right now, okay, given the state of the union, we just had a reset. There's no way your project portfolio is still intact. Let's sit down and think through what this looks like. You may have to do new annuals. So we were talking about lessons learned. We told a lot of you to schedule them for June. If you have not done your lessons learned, get them scheduled for July, because we're starting to see people reintegrate and come back on site and figure out what their strategies are going to be. This is what you should have done last December as well. But now we had to reset. Given everything that's happened, what should our project portfolio look like for the year? This is a great way for you to build up your business and build up your client's business with great ideas that you've come up with. So your clients are looking at that stimulus money as well and thinking, where should I spend it? So the second round that's coming in, this $500 billion that's starting to trickle out to all the states in the United States, this is where your clients are looking at this cash that they'll probably be receiving in August or September. And they're thinking, how are we going to use this? And I guarantee you, a lot of them are thinking, one, let's get some payroll covered. But other ones are thinking, okay, how do we get people to work from home? And they're going to want to buy those packages that you guys have been putting together. They're going to want to upgrade their infrastructure so that it's more robust when it comes to the work from home strategies. Because a lot of the businesses I talk to are really scared. I think Skip and I were just talking about this morning, or I was talking with somebody this morning about it, about how people are scared that we're going to go back into lockdown because the infection rate numbers are going back up.
Yep.
And we knew this was going to happen. The big scare is, will there be a presidential mandate or multiple mandates from different countries to lock back down? I personally don't think so. That's the world according to Adam. I think that we're going to bowl forward on this. I think that we're going to see some people tighten up. You're going to see your retirement homes. You're going to see your hospitals tighten back up. But you're going to see your businesses get more aggressive at selling and trying to get back on so that they can make up for lost time. That Q2 just crushed us. So you got to be thinking about your quarterly goals right now. You got 5 days until July begins.
Yeah. And as your conversation, goes on with your clients, just, obviously their priorities are changing, their needs are changing. And so it's very important that you listen to those specifically because that's the alignment. You hear, the talking heads, which I guess Adam and I are the technology talking heads, so when we talk about technology alignment, what we mean is making sure that all the stuff that you're putting in their network, all the stuff that, is logged in, got an IP address, all those things, it needs to have some sort of logical path to how it supports their business, how it's supporting their goals. And so, the easy one is if they're going to send a bunch of people to work from home, well, that primary VPN firewall, that's really important. And so we want to, talk about it and manage it in the perspective of, hey, we're supporting employees now that are remote that used to be in the office. It's not just, hey, we've got this new firewall, we got a license, issue or whatever. Always keep in mind, what's the business reason? What's the business driver that we're trying to address? And when you do that, you're going to be more relevant to your clients. They're going to see you and the services that you offer as more valuable because there's always a business context. And honestly, you don't have to worry about the technical context. You got that, okay? Let's just focus on the business context.
Yeah, you want to be a real hero to your clients right now? Read through the SBA stuff through their eyes. Or send one of your employees, like, I need you to go look through the SBA grants and see which ones of these may apply to our clients. And then, or say, hey, this SBA grant will allow people to buy more PCs and servers or blah, blah, blah. Then come to your client and say, hey, we went through those SBA grants that came out and we did the footwork for you to identify which grants will allow you to do X. Be their hero. And because they're busy too. Like my CFO, she lets me know, she's like, hey, I noticed this. Here are things that you need to worry about. You should be like getting your grants.gov account created so you're ready to apply once you see one that pertains to you. These are things that she brings up, and that makes me really loyal to her. She's ahead of the game. She's got hundreds of clients, and she takes the time to reach out to me and say, hey, Adam, I know you're looking for the grants. Here's a couple that might pertain to you. And you can do the same thing. Like when you see you go to SBA.gov and you look at the grants that are available, maybe for all women firms, female-led firms, or for minority companies, have a specific slice set out for them. Being able to reach out to those clients that fit those descriptions, say, hey, there's a bunch of grant dollars available for you right now. Let's work together and try to find a way to get the most bang for your buck for your company. And that is going to make you a hero. If your client can get a free $10,000 grant to help them afford mobile for laptops or mobile device strategies, and you can tell them which software and which hardware they can buy that'll fit into the description, they're going to hit you up on that. They want that free cash. They want that cash that's going to help them grow, and they won't know which parts of these grants pertain to them without talking to you. Sorry, that's my exciting little rant there. And this is as Skip says, this is the business differentiator. This is what's going to make you set apart from your competition. So I know some of you on this call have hundreds of clients that are prospective leads. Getting an email out to them saying, hey, these SBA grants are available. Here's how we can help you meet the criteria for them. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter if they're your client or not, they're knocking on your door.
Yep.
Especially if you're trying to do disruption in your community, sending out an email or doing a little like video cast or something like that you can put out there saying, hey, are you looking to take advantage of some of the grants that are coming out? Our company can help you. Our company will show you how to use an SBA grant to upgrade all of your infrastructure to be ready for the next pandemic for free. Is your MSP doing that for you? I bet not.
Yeah.
And you can put that phrase out there, make a Facebook ad, make a LinkedIn ad, and push the crap out of it. And you're going to see people come to your doorstep because everybody's desperate right now to try to get back to normal, or they want to, the smart and savvy people are wanting to get ahead of where they were. They want to use this disrupted economy to accelerate their business. And you want to be the person or the group that's going to help them do that. Anything else to add, Skip? I made it through my list of 3 things today.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, it is some challenging times, but as I've been telling people, you don't have to just survive. These are great opportunities to actually thrive.
Yes.
Your business is obviously feeling a lot of change. So have your clients' businesses, but in that change, you can really have the opportunity to jump out there and to do new things. So, be the glass half full kind of guy, look at it with a little bit of optimism and find the opportunity in there. And I think that will pay off well for you.
I just want to point out there, and I'm a transparent person. Even Virtual C took a 38% hit, not because we were doing bad business, but because people were scared. Yeah. Your clients are scared, and I see that too. And when you reach out and you want to help these people who are scared, you want to help them through this situation, and then you want to say, okay, as a company, Virtual C thought, okay, where else can we help? What can we do to accelerate through this? And I see the pain and I feel the pain ourselves. And way we're getting through it is we're starting to accelerate past it, and we're still growing as a company. Not because we panicked and rolled everything back, but because we doubled down on our strategies. Our podcast is doing phenomenal when it comes to podcasts. And, we could have just said, let's kill that to save some money, but we didn't. We pushed through it. We could have said, hey, let's start just focusing on coaching or membership. Instead, we said, hey, let's focus on how we can help MSPs and how we can help my businesses here in Lincoln get ahead of the curve. So I've been helping attorney firms. I've been helping physical therapy firms and helping them understand what to do and how to accelerate here. Conversations that I would not have had before, I'm having every day now because we didn't panic. We said, okay, you know what? The 40% hit, the 38% hit, it happened. Now, where do we go from here? And what we saw a lot of people do is say, okay, let's cut our expenses by 40%. Yeah. Virtual C said, how do we accelerate now?
Yep.
The engine stalled just for a second there. Okay, what do I need to do now? And we thought, how can we help our members? How can we help the people around us? And because of that messaging, people know that Virtual C is here to help. We are actually here to help you grow. We're actually here to help you accelerate. So that is what I want to leave you guys with. It's like, keep your eye on those SBA grants. What are the criteria? How can you use that cash? Maybe not even personally, but to help your clients. How can you take time to yourself to recenter and think through the processes for this next quarter, given the massive disruption you've seen? And finally, how can you take those quarterly goals that you came up with out of the peace and quiet and use that to accelerate your company and your clients through the rest of this year? Because there's a massive amount of opportunity coming up. No matter where you are in the world, there's a massive amount of opportunity coming up.
Yep, that's true.
So with that, I think that's about all we have for today. Listen to the podcast. We've got some great stuff on there. The Tales from Around the World has gotten a ridiculous amount of attention. If you haven't been to our Facebook page, the Humanize IT Facebook page, there are some really interesting discussions going on internationally. And Skip is just laughing. You know what? They're not all flaming about their country. Some of them are pretty happy.
Yeah.
And I really want you to look out and see how you can make a difference and set quarterly goals that are going to help your clients and are going to continue to grow, because you want to build on the Q3 goals with your Q4 goals. And when 2021 hits, I think we're going to see a crazy year. In the United States, it's an election year. So we always see interesting things happen in the economy during an election year. And then also with everything having dipped so far this year, we're going to see a lot of people investing heavily on economic growth. And you want to be a part of that. So in your Q3 and your Q4 goals, be very deliberate about growth-minded mindsets in your companies, because it's change and you want to be a part of that. With that, I'm going to sign off, let you guys have another half an hour to your week, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.